Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into some really powerful stuff, strategies for success, and maybe even more importantly, for overcoming the obstacles life is definitely going to throw our way. We all want to build a flourishing life, right? To stay optimistic and have a clear vision for the future. So in this Nexford University Explainer, we're going to take all those great foundational ideas and really pressure test them against reality. Because let's be honest, even the absolute best laid plans can run into some serious trouble. And that's just the truth of it, isn't it? Life is guaranteed to bring some turbulence. You're going to face stress, you're going to make mistakes, you'll deal with things that are completely out of your hands. So the real question isn't if these things will happen, it's how we're going to respond when they do. Which brings us right to the core question we are going to tackle together. What is that inner strength, that secret sauce, that lets some people navigate all that hardship without letting it completely break them? In other words, what really, truly makes a person resilient? Okay, so let's get into it. Here's the game plan. First, we're going to pin down exactly what resilience is. Then, we'll look at its powerful partner in crime, grit. And finally, we'll see how you can put all these ideas into practice to lead yourself and maybe others through change. All right, let's kick things off with the big one. I want you to think of resilience as your own personal reservoir of strength. You know, it's that deep well you can draw from when everything on the surface feels like it's drying up. So, the formal definition is right here. It's that psychological and emotional strength to cope with stress and hardship. But that phrase, mental reservoir, that just perfectly captures it. This isn't about being bulletproof or immune to pain. It's about having a deep source of strength to tap into when you need it most. And here's the best part, and I really want you to hear this. Resilience is not some rare, magical trait that you're either born with or you're not. No way. It is absolutely 100% a skill. And just like any other skill, you can learn it, you can practice it, and you can get stronger at it your entire life. Now, how empowering is that? So, what does the skill actually look like in the real world? Well, research shows us some common threads among resilient people. They tend to have a pretty positive view of themselves and what they can do. They have what's called an internal locus of control. That's basically the belief that they're in the driver's seat of their own lives. They see themselves as fighters, not victims. And they manage their emotions instead of letting their emotions manage them. Okay, now let's build on that. If resilience is the fuel you've got stored in your reservoir, then grit is the engine. It's the engine that uses that fuel to actually move you forward, especially when the road gets really long and really tough. This idea was really brought to life by psychologist Dr. Angela Duckworth, and her definition is so powerful because it highlights two key things. It's not just about perseverance, sticking with something. It's about sticking with it because you have a deep passion for those long-term goals. That's the key. And here's another crucial point. Grit isn't something you're just born with either. It's totally connected to having a growth mindset. That's the core belief that your abilities aren't fixed. They're not set in stone. It's that I can get better at this attitude that fuels everything. So, the big question is, how do we actually develop it? Well, it all starts by connecting with things you're genuinely passionate about. From there, it's about focused practice. Really deliberate work, not just going through the motions. You also have to connect what you're doing to a purpose bigger than yourself. And finally, you have to cultivate hope, that solid belief that your future can be better. Okay, so we've defined resilience, we've defined grit. Now let's get practical. Let's see how these incredibly powerful ideas apply out in the real world, especially in our professional lives, where change is pretty much the only thing you can count on. This quote from our source material just nails it, doesn't it? Mergers, layoffs, new leadership, new technologies, these aren't the exceptions anymore. They're just part of the landscape. And how we handle them is what really separates success from failure. So what does this look like from a leader's point of view? Well, take Herb Kelleher, the legendary former CEO of Southwest Airlines. When he was getting ready to step down, he basically created a toolkit for change. He made sure the company could adapt. He created options so they were never stuck on just one path. He cultivated a growth mindset and made a real investment in his people. And, crucially, he helped them prepare for whatever was coming next. That is resilience in action on a huge scale. So, we've explored the theory, we've seen it in practice. Now it's time to bring it all home and start thinking about how you can build your own path forward. A fantastic way to do this is to actually build your own personal resilience blueprint. Think of it as your chance to pull together everything we've talked about and design strategies that will work specifically for you and your goals. And look, the goal here is super practical. This isn't just an academic exercise. The work you do here can directly help you create a real, tangible plan to make your environment, whether that's at work or at home, a happier, more positive, more flourishing space. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But really, it's the beginning of your journey. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Looking back at everything we've covered, from resilience to grit to putting it all into practice, what is the very first, small, doable step you can take today to start building your own resilience plan?